computer. Hey guys, welcome to another Rev question of the week. We have a super special guest this week. We are joined by my good friend, Mr. Isaac Greep. Isaac, how long have we known each other now? Couple years, 2 years?
I think just a little over a year now.
I guess
a year and a half.
Well, I guess it's only been a year and a half. Me and Isaac actually met here at New Heights. He's a really, really good friend of mine. We've now been in a small group together for about a year, and he lives with a bunch of my best friends. And Isaac, why don't you tell? I already said a lot about you, but why don't you tell us who you are? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I just graduated, or I guess I say just. I graduated from Washington State University over in Pullman in 2018. So I've been out of school for a couple years. Just kind of been working, and yeah, go Cougs, baby. Just kind of been working in Vancouver until recently. I'm not working right now. So just kind of, staying at home for this whole quarantine, COVID-19 and stuff like that. I just got connected to New Heights, about 2 years or so. 2 years ago or so now, just through some mutual friends at WSU. And that's been great. I've just got to be involved in the young adult ministry, the college ministry and stuff. So that's been great. I've got to meet Evan and a lot of other guys through there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Funny enough, Isaac met me and a bunch of other young men that we're really close. We have a really close, tight-knit community, and Isaac hit it off so well with us. I think it was only 2 weeks after we invited him to Canada with us. And it was just like we always say that Isaac was like a match made in heaven for our community. So he didn't unfortunately get to make it to Canada with us, but I think that's just a good sign. We love Isaac. So Isaac, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. And Isaac, I'm interested to hear. So this is obviously a video for Rev. That's not a secret to you or anyone watching. If you think about yourself in middle school, what advice would you give to young Isaac Greep? Try and picture Isaac Greep way up in Bellevue. Were you in Bellevue? In middle school?
I was going to middle school in Bellevue.
Imagine Bellevue Isaac Greep. What advice would you give yourself? What would be like the big thing, that you would tell yourself?
Yeah, so the thing that just kind of came to mind for me is, I kind of think back to, what was I doing? And I was pretty much at that point in my life, I was pretty much going to school. I would go to school, come home, and play video games all day. That was pretty much my life. So I would say just get involved just with as much as you can. I don't know if that's a problem for as many other people as it was for me. And I would say lay off the video games, honestly, a little bit. That could be really tough, especially in this time. But I'm just thinking advice for myself. I wished I spent a little less time playing video games and a little bit more time getting involved with activities that, new activities, getting new experiences. Cause a lot of things that you can get involved with, just like different sports or clubs and stuff like that, which I pretty much didn't do any of that when I was in middle school. It's like, you may not have an interest in it now, but I would at least explore it a little bit, because later in life, you might find that you have an interest in it. Like just for example, just real easy one, like baseball, for example. I had really no interest in baseball when I was in middle school. But I very easily could have gotten into it. I had a couple friends that were sort of into it. But then when I got to college, almost all my friends were really into baseball. I could talk baseball for hours. They play baseball. And, when I got there, I was like, man, I kind of wish I got in on that when I got the chance. Because by the time you're in college, everyone's skill level is so much higher above you. So I would just say, just be open and just try to get involved with as many things as you can. You don't want to overburden yourself, if you're getting too involved, and might be a good thing to take a step back. But I'd say just get involved.
Yeah, and also on that, I feel like for students, I was kind of the same way. I feel like there's a lot of times where I kind of let fear get in the way of me doing something that I thought would be really, really cool. I don't know. I think that I was a really insecure middle school student. I don't know if you were the same, but there's a lot of times where I was like, I kind of wish I could try that, but I was so nervous to like be bad at it, or I was so nervous that, you know, people would think I'm dumb or think that I sucked or something. And in hindsight, I just think, man, I wish I would have, you know, just explored more fun things that just, you know, I was excited about, and worried less about what people thought of me, or worried less about whether or not I was going to be the best baseball player. Perfect example, you know.
Yeah.
Encourage middle school students that, you know, as you get older, when you start hanging out with people that actually really care about you, you know, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you love one another, supporting each other, and like, it's okay to just have fun. Me and my buddies, we go skiing sometimes, and not everyone's the same level, but everyone has fun. So that's a really, really good one. I think that if I were to tell young Evan, I mean, I would say don't let insecurity and keep you from doing what you love. I think when I was in middle school, I remember going to like camps, and I was so insecure about like the way I looked that I like wouldn't swim for an entire camp, even though swimming is by far my favorite activity to do ever. Like in the summertime, guys, I swim almost every day. I love swimming. I love cliff jumping. I love, you name it. Anything that involves water, I'm all over it. And when I was in middle school, I was so insecure about how I looked that it actually kept me from enjoying like one of the things that God, like one of the passions that God gave me, and that's like exploring water, you know. And that kind of bums me out, you know. I was like, I really missed out, and I remember it was always so stressful. So hey, if that's you, if you're a middle school student and you're like, man, I sometimes let my insecurities keep me from playing the sport that I love or the activity that I love, you know, don't let that stuff hold you back. So God's given you those passions for a reason. So that would be my advice. So okay, well, that's awesome. And guys, so if you're new to a Rev question of the week, this is how this video basically works. Every week, we take a question from a middle school student, and we try to answer them. So all the questions that me and Isaac are going to deal with today are specific questions from you guys. If you want a question that you want featured in a future video, all you got to do is text the number. It's right there in the description. You can text that number. It goes straight to the middle school staff. We don't spread it around. It just goes to us. And then we try and queue up those questions, and we try to hammer out in future videos. If we're not able to get to it in a video, we might just call you or email you. If you don't want to talk on the phone, I get it. Maybe we'll just text you or email you, and we can talk about it then. Okay, but we want to answer your questions. Questions are really, really important for people. We don't know everything. I don't know anything. Isaac definitely doesn't know everything. We're both learning. That kind of sounded funny. You know, Isaac definitely doesn't know everything.
It's true. It's true.
We're still learning. Both of us are still learning so much about the Lord and about our faith. And it's good to ask questions. That's a big value we have at Rev. Okay, so here's the first question that we got from someone asked via text, why do we share our faith at all? And I think that's a really interesting question. Someone asked, why do we share our faith at all? So I think they're basically asking, you know, why don't we just keep quiet and just not share our faith and just kind of live our own lives? Like, why not just let your neighbor do whatever they want, and I'm going to do what I want? Well, the Bible, if you look at the life that Jesus lived, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, we celebrated Easter. We celebrated the death and resurrection of Jesus. Me and Isaac actually watched the Passion of the Christ together. I doubt you've seen it. Maybe you have, but it's a really brutal depiction of Jesus's death. And as I was watching that, I was like, man, this is just so heavy. And after he rises, Jesus says to his disciples, go, right? He says, go and spread the gospel. He tells us to go make more and better disciples. When you actually like learn what Jesus has done for you, you can't help but share it. Sharing the faith that Jesus has given you is a natural product of your faith. Like if you're a Christian and if you believe that Jesus died and rose again, naturally you should want to go and spread it. So I guess in short, we spread our faith and we share our faith because we're excited about what Jesus has done. So that's why we don't keep it quiet. To keep it quiet would mean that we don't understand fully what Jesus has done for us. You know, if you won, let's say, I don't even know, let's say the most valuable prize a man could ever get. You know, I'm not even talking money. It's more than that. Let's say someone just walked up to you on the street and said, hey, I'm going to give you the greatest prize a person could ever get. Would you just hold on to that? And would you just not share? No, you would want to share that with people. You would want to share that with the people that you love. Jesus is infinitely more valuable than even that imaginary prize that you could win. So we naturally want to share our faith. Isaac, when you think about sharing your faith, someone else asked, how do I share that faith then? So if we're supposed to share our faith with others, how do we do that? How do we share our faith with our friends when that can feel like really intimidating sometimes?
Yeah, this is it's a really, really great question, and I think it's a question that that everyone of all ages has. It's actually a question that I have had recently, and it's something I'm still kind of figuring out. There's a couple different, I guess, things I would say to that. First, I guess like a practical piece of advice I would give is just really understand the gospel.
And what,
understand
really quick, I realized that I had said that word. Yeah. You could summarize the gospel in one sentence. When you say that, like understand the gospel, what are you referring to?
I'm talking about how Jesus came and died, or God sent Jesus to die for our sin and to die for our sins. Let's see. God sent Jesus to come die in our place to forgive our sins because he loves us. And I mean, there's a lot more like to it than that. It's a very simple, just, God sent Jesus to die for our sins. If that's probably the one sentence
we could be with him.
No, yeah. Sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, I said so that we could be right in relationship with God. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So I would just say first, you want to just understand that, you just want to understand kind of that story. And then for this first kind of practical piece of advice, I would just say kind of have like a little bit of a guideline in your head. So it's like, I mean, you don't have to have like a big script you write, but just kind of just know that and just say to yourself, okay, if I run into a friend or someone who just doesn't know the gospel, just real quick, this is kind of how I explain it to them. That would be the first piece. Just have some sort of guideline you can tell them. And then the next thing I'd say is, I mean, it's a really great question because it can be really tough. I mean, I have lots of friends that I met in college. I would say most of them don't know Jesus and don't believe in God. And it can be really tough to share with them because like you don't want them to think you're weird, or you don't want to lose them as a friend if you feel like you're pushing your faith on them too much. So it can be really difficult. But I guess kind of like what Evan was saying, what you were saying earlier is, I mean, when you've accepted Jesus into your life, you can't help but share it. So I guess just try not to look at it as like this thing I have to do. It's this task that I have to complete, but you're doing it out of love. It's like, this is my friend. I can't help but share it with them. And it just becomes so much easier when you view it like that, as opposed to just like a task. Like I have to do it totally. Because like God tells me to, but it's like, I want to. And just kind of with that, I mean, just the last thing I'll kind of finish up with this is, I mean, it can be tough to, it's like, how do you share something that, deep with somebody? It's like, it's tough to bring that up in normal conversation, but I would just say, just really pray about it. Just, when you're at home, think about the friends that, don't know the gospel, don't know Jesus, and just pray about that every day. And even when you're having a conversation with them, and, you might not be sharing your faith with them right there, but just kind of be praying in your head a little bit. Just, God, if you can just open up the opportunity in this conversation for me to share the story of Jesus with them. I think that'll be, you'll be surprised at how helpful that can be. I guess Evan, do you think that makes sense? I'm kind of going on there, but
I think if I were summarizing for people, just my takeaways from what you said, I think first and foremost, if you choose to share your faith, one, know what you're going to say and know what you believe, know what Jesus. So I think that's as simple as If you're going to share your faith, be a Christian. Um, have your own personal faith first. That's the most important thing. I think Isaac hit it on the nail. If you're going to share your faith, know what you believe personally first. I think it has to be about you, right? Sharing your faith isn't about an argument. We're not trying to win an argument. We're not trying to argue with people and win some fight. No, we want to share what's genuine to us. I think the second thing, Isaac, I think you said was really great was have the right mindset. You know, guys, like I said, if I have done this, a big weakness of mine, I was insecure in my faith. And anytime I talked with someone who was an unbeliever, I approached it like it was an argument, as if we were both arguing about, about equal things. And I just wanted to win the argument. And I instead changed my mindset. I wish I had the mindset that Isaac is encouraging us to have, that say, hey, we're doing this out of love. I'm not trying to rob them of their life. I'm not trying to rob them of anything. I'm trying to point them to Jesus, who loves them more than anything in this entire world. And then number 3, I thought you said pray about it, which was really good. I think praying about it is really, really great. So I think all those things were super, super helpful. And this is something you guys are going to have to deal with as you get older. It's not going to get easier. The older you get, the more the people around you are actually going to start to ask those big questions. What do I really believe? And so there's going to be more and more opportunities for you as you get older to actually have those personal conversations about faith. And it can be intimidating at times. I love that Isaac said it can be hard, but it's so rewarding when you put yourself out there. It's so rewarding. Isaac and I both have stories about how we've put ourselves out there. We were really nervous to do it. And we decided when we were both young in our faith, like, hey, we're just going to put ourselves out there. We're going to share our faith and see what God does with it. And both times it was really rewarding. That doesn't mean in that moment that person became a Christian. Most of the time it doesn't happen that way. But it still plants a seed. And that would be my encouragement to you guys. So first and foremost, don't feel like you have to win an argument. Just share your faith. Share what's genuine to you. And then number 2, I would say the way you live your life is more important than what you say. So if you're at school and you're, preaching the gospel, and that's great. But if you're also then on the side, lying, not having good character, being rude, bullying people, not being kind, being kind of a punk, right? And that's going to create conflict. The way you live your life is really, really important. It's the most important way to share your faith. You need to reflect with your actions what's genuine to you about what Jesus has done. And that's the most important thing. And I think that's the thing that all of us struggle with the most, right? And so I would just encourage you guys to if you want to share your faith with friends, ask yourself, do your choices when you and your buddy are hanging out late at night, or you and your friend are hanging out and you guys are having maybe a sleepover, or you guys are at the park hanging out, I don't know what you guys are doing, it's summer break, let's say, are the things that you're talking about reflecting your faith, or are you just doing whatever? I think you guys need to really think about, do the actions that you take and the choices that you make reflect your faith? If they do, sharing the gospel is going to be a whole lot easier with that friend. So that's what me and Isaac have for you guys. Thanks for joining us. Me and Isaac and the REV team, the REV staff, we're praying for you guys. We hope you're doing okay. I don't know, Isaac, when you think about doing all online school as a middle school student, do you think you could have done it? I don't think.
Yeah, I guess we would have had to, but it definitely sounds difficult. So yeah. I don't know for sure.
I'm impressed. You guys are killing it. You guys are doing more than I could have done. I learned time management when I got to college. Okay. So you guys are learning it now. And I think that's very, very impressive. A couple quick announcements for you guys before we leave. Okay. First and foremost, sign up online for Zoom REV on Sundays. Every Sunday at 11, we do REV. It's awesome. Last week, we had this huge game where we raffled off Amazon gift cards. It was a blast. Join Zoom for REV. Okay, I'm going to post that link also in the description. You guys can go there. You guys can sign up, and then you'll get a Zoom link. You can join me at 11 on Sundays. Okay, then number 2 is check out the NHSM services. They happen every Thursday at 7. They're right here on the YouTube channel. This week, we're playing this crazy game where we make what we call a Mark Sunday. I'm not going to delude too much more information than that, but you're going to want to check it out. All right. Well, guys, we're praying for you. We miss you. Text in your questions, and we'll see you next week. See you guys. Bye.